Therefore, if you are young in the audience, I'll tell you, apartheid is not politics. Apartheid is theology. Because the theology says God put all of us in a pot to cook us. That's Roman Dutch. And then he took the white people first out of the pot. That's why they are lighter. Then the Indians and the coloreds came next. And while he was fixing them, the black people got burnt in the pot. Now, when you understand that, the conclusion is, why must you care for what God forgot? The book took me to Nigeria, to Ashim Lowas, Semi Adeyemis, Bukolas, Adeboyas. I had one question for all of them when I met them. How do you become spiritual? And how do you live a spiritual life? From African indigenous knowledge systems to Pentecostal, charismatic, and mainstream theologians. The worst part is when I went to meet up with Credo Mutwa in Kuruman. I broke the Facebook and all social media. Because as a minister in the gospel, as a bishop in the Christian space, them seeing me sitting next to a man, but then he was frail, he was not very healthy. And his house is quite big, so I had to sit like where the young man is. And I could not hear him clearly. So I had to move from where he was and come closer to him. But you know, he was a hefty man. The two-seater where he was sitting on, he occupied almost all of it. So I decided I would sit next to him, but there was no seat there. Either I had to stand while he's talking, or sit on the floor and still struggle, or kneel and then hear him. But I'm brought up from an African culture. I bend one knee and I lean towards the couch, to which the cameraman captured the picture, which became a social picture. We can't listen to Maponga anymore. He's kneeling in front of a witch. I don't even regret doing that. My grandfather brought me. I've never spoken to my grandfather standing at him. Please, I understand English. I'm speaking at that level. I never spoke to my grandfather standing at him. I'll never have my head above his head. Every time my grandfather was talking to me, I assumed a position lesser than him. And when I saw Credo Mutwa, I said, he is a senior. I'm a junior. It had nothing to do with spiritual subordination. But it had to do with me understanding I'm talking to an old person, older than me. Coming to your comment. How long did it take me? 8 years. What did it cost me? It costed me everything. Because after 33 years of ministry, Pastor, Bishop, Dr. Mwemba is here. We graduated in the same class, 1991, 92, with our first degrees, before we did the second and third degrees and masters and doctorates. He's here. In all my learning, when I started questioning what is it that I believe, what is it that I know, what is it that I want to learn, then I discovered there are three people in this world. Those who think inside the box are limited by the box. Those who think outside of the box still reference the box as a point of departure. I decided I'll bend the box and think.
What did it cost you?
It costed me everything. To say the least, the mainstream church where I've been working from, they decided to distance themselves from my style of thinking. So the division ministerial director by the name of Pastor Ngwaru decided to write a letter to the whole Christian community that they must pull down all the content that I had uploaded as a pastor from church sites and everywhere else, and the church must have nothing to do with me, because the my thinking and my perceptions were now contrary to the church main doctrine, which makes me excited. Because if Jesus and God in heaven gave the Israelites Palestine, which belonged to other people, what has he given the Africans? Because when you say you are a chosen nation, it gives you permission to abuse other nations that are not chosen. There's toxicity in the remnant concept of gospel, which then makes you arrogant and rude to other people that you deem less than yourself. That's where apartheid is grafted in. Because if a white man thinks that he has got a superior culture, knowledge, skin, and preference to God, then anyone else who is less than himself, does not deserve the same respect that he has. Therefore, if you are young in the audience, I'll tell you, apartheid is not politics. Apartheid is theology. Because the theology says God put all of us in a pot to cook us. That's Roman Dutch. And then he took the white people first out of the pot. That's why they are lighter. Then the Indians and the coloreds came next. And while he was fixing them, the black people got burnt in the pot. Now, when you understand that, the conclusion is, why must you care for what God forgot? Why must you worry about a black man? Because even his maker forgot him in the pot to cook. That's why we are dark in complexion. But if we got a biblical narrative that says he picked us up from the dust of the ground, then show me white skin, that is black. It throws everything out. What did it cost me? It costed me everything. It costed me my respect. It costed me my pension. It costed me my retirement. It costed me the whole career that I built around colonial Eurocentric religion. And I had to start from scratch. Do I regret? When I look in the eyes of my children, maybe I do. Because I could have complied and I could have been a president or secretary of a union in a conference with a retirement package for my children. Do I regret? Maybe I do. But maybe I don't. Because I would have left them in the same ditch of confusion, which I still struggle with. So what do I think? Bend the box. Let them think.